Welcome to Think NP's 5 Tips in 10 Minutes. I'm your host, Matt Hugg, and today we have with us Joel Smith of JF Smith & Associates. And Joel, thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me here today.
If you've watched these before, you know the format. We're just going to jump right in and we're going to go over what Joel has, the top 5 things that Joel thinks everybody ought to know about consulting. So Joel, what's number 1?
Well, I think number 1, because we're all trying to figure out how to acquire clients, is just smart networking.
Not just networking, smart networking.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think there's this idea that if we do a lot of networking, we meet a lot of people, get a lot of cards, there's some philosophies, go to an event and come back with 10 cards. I think what we need to do when we network, and when I started this business, did a lot of it, is
right.
to evaluate and measure whether the networking you're doing is creating the return that we want. And what is the return we want?
Okay.
We want business, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's nice that we meet nice people and maybe
everybody
make a new
knows
friend.
you, that's good, right?
But in the end, is it converting to business?
Gotcha.
And so I think we have to be sort of business-like about that and measure the return. So when I started, I joined every chamber of commerce. I joined anything that sounded like it, 3 or 4 letters together, that sounded like a networking group. But I very quickly started to track who I met where and what turned into business.
Okay.
And I think it may sound a little bit cold and harsh, but we're in business, right? Our business is to find consulting clients,
right?
Not to make new friends.
Yep. Got to feed the family. And that's what this is all about.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, am I getting the return? Because not only, we tend to think about, it costs $500 to belong to this organization,
sure,
or $1,000, or whatever the number might be. But the hours too, because when I first started this, I was out almost every night of the week.
Yeah.
And so there's the time element. I'm putting in almost like another job called networking.
Right.
So why not do that in a very, very smart way? So that to me is number 1.
Well, that's great. That's a super way to start. So what's number 2?
So I think it's a common problem for especially consultants starting out, is they want to be all things to all people.
Right. I do everything.
That's right. I do everything. I do it equally well. I'm brilliant at everything. Well, no one is.
Right.
What a client wants to know is, what are you really great at? And the one thing that I will say to a new consultant or existing consultant, if we get to talk, is, what is the thing, if you were in corporate, if you're coming out of corporate, what is the thing that everybody came to you for?
That's
what
good.
what was really your expertise? So that's probably where you have the highest value.
Yes. Right.
And that's how you should market yourself. Be very clear about it, but you want to make sure you also like it. You want to do things that you like.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, you may not even want to be a consultant. Because you want to be able to like it and be very good at it. Because the other business will come. You have to be razor sharp about this. This is what I do best. This is what you, and it can be a couple things, but it can't be a laundry list.
Right.
Once you're in and you're working with a client, the other stuff will come. And as long as you can really do a good job, it may not be your number 1 expertise, you'll get that other business. I think there's this fear that, well, if I tell them only about this, they won't ask me for that.
Well, you can let them know as you move forward in the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think it's very, very important, because I see a lot of that they want to be generalists. Well, the company has generalists.
Yes.
That's how you staff a business. You hire generalists in each of the departments, and it's when you either run out of bandwidth or you run out of expertise that you start to look for consultants. That's why you hire, and that's why we're able to get a higher value per hour than the client's paying their individual. Why would they do that? Why would they want to bring us in and pay us more than their staff, unless there's some real value? And so the value is in your expertise.
That's cool. Okay, so what's number 3? This is really good.
Be careful how you pick clients. And you do. We go into this business.
Yeah. So it's not like, okay, I do everything for everybody and I'll take anybody. That's not how you...
That's right.
Okay.
Because there's nothing worse for you as a person, as a consultant, as an individual, to work with a client who isn't a good client. And what's a good client? Someone's going to listen to you. Someone who's not going to be offended that maybe you're insecure about, that you might know a little bit more than them.
Right.
Because the worst thing we can do is have a bad project.
Yeah.
One bad project can ruin 100 good ones.
Right.
So being selective, working with people you like. I mean, when we were in corporate, if we're honest, we worked with people.
Because you had to.
Because you had to.
Yeah.
But when you're a consultant, you have that option.
Right.
And don't let hunger be the reason that you take on a client.
Right. Right. Because I'm sure it gives you more energy as well if you're working with somebody you like, and that the whole snowball gets bigger.
That's right.
At that point.
And like is sort of sounds like a broad term, but I mean that not necessarily that you're going to go have a beer. It's nice if you want to go have a beer.
Sure.
But someone you feel you can work with, that you can collaborate with, that's receptive to what you have to say.
Okay.
So I think that would be the one note I made here was to it's not just about the money.
Right.
The money will come, but you need to be selective there.
Cool. So what's the next one? Number 4.
4 is build a reputation.
Oh, which is connected to the last one.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
You have nothing but your reputation.
Right.
And it follows you. And,
It even precedes you. It gets there before you do.
Well, it does. It does sometimes.
Yeah.
And, we're at a wonderful time. And, I've been doing this kind of business for 16 years now, where most of our work comes from referrals, client referrals,
Sure.
referral partners. Well, you don't get referrals without reputation.
Right.
And that's what we want.
And by the way, if I may, right here, to say that referrals doesn't mean you're not marketing. It means that you're just marketing to get referrals.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so that's a little subset of this,
Yeah, right.
It might be number 6.
Yeah.
But that is build a network of people that are other service providers that provide services to the same client and the same person within that company that you do, because they're going to be the source of the information.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a little.
But
side.
reputation is huge.
Reputation is huge. Look, we know about it in our personal life. We covet and try to maintain our reputation and do everything we can as a person, and that should follow through into your business, and it'll pay dividends.
Yeah.
Because in the end, not to make this all about money, but in the end, if you have a good reputation, you'll be able to get the work,
Right.
get the fees. We're going to talk about fees next.
Oh, okay.
Little sampler
Little
there.
teaser there, yeah.
But you'll be able to command the kind of hourly rate or daily rate because you have the reputation.
Okay.
You're the go-to person, and you provide good quality work.
Now, because you told me fees is number 5 here, and I think that's great. So you want to be the lowest provider, right?
No.
All right, let's talk about this.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think there are different opinions, but I'm a strong believer in that if you've decided to be a consultant, you have to put a proper value on. It has to be competitive,
right?
But a proper value, and if you strive to be the lowest cost, you'll be perceived as the lowest cost. And of course, the lowest cost is 0.
Right.
And too many consultants think if I start out and I do a lot of work for free,
yeah,
that'll be great. That'll be my pathway.
Well, particularly in nonprofits where it's easy to be free because they have these things called volunteers.
Well, that's right.
That's right.
And so, but people perceive the value in what they pay for it. So if they paid you 0,
right,
what is their expectation?
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing. Again, having done this for a long, long time, we have found that when we charge more, we get more.
Yeah.
So it sounds counterintuitive.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about doubling your fees or tripling your fees, and I'm not saying doing them overnight, but don't be afraid to test the water.
Right.
Because it's, in the end, a small incremental change in fee is not the reason you'll lose a project.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
So, and again, it's the perceived value that's so important here. So I think, figure out, it's easy, relatively easy. What's the competition? Who's your competition? You never want to be the cheapest, and you won't be the most expensive, because the most expensive are going to be the regional consulting firms that do the work that you do, or the national firms, and you can pretty much figure out what they are. So we try. We don't strive to be in the middle. We try to be in that sort of middle to national firm
Right.
range,
Yeah.
so that we're still less expensive. The other thing that we realize is that we're selling expertise. A lot of the national firms hire younger people that come right out of college to be the consultants.
Right.
And so they don't have the expertise. We sell expertise. So remember, you're selling expertise.
Okay.
And there's a value to that.
That's cool. Well, Joel, this has really been good. These have been really solid hints. Now, to go over your list again, number 1 was networking.
It's smart networking.
Smart networking. Okay. Number 2?
Be very clear and focused about your expertise. Sell what you do best.
Great. Number 3?
Be careful how you pick your clients.
That's really important. Number 4?
Number 4 is reputation. That's all you have.
That's it.
That's all you have.
And number 5?
Is be smart about what your fees and don't be afraid to charge a fair fee for what you do.
Exactly. Wow, that's great. Well, this has really been helpful. Joel, if somebody were to want to get a hold of you, where would they go?
So they can go to our website, which is www.jfsmithassociates, all one word, .com.
Great.
Or 215-646-5520.
Joel, thank you so much for being with us on 5 tips in 10 minutes with Think NP. And everybody, my name's Matt Hugg, and you have seen 5 tips in 10 minutes with Think NP and Joel Smith of JF Smith & Associates. Have a great consulting day.